Time out with him. Oh.
Open up your mind and let me in. Open up your mind and let me in. Open up your mind and let me in.
Hello, welcome to Time Out with Timo. I'm your host, Tim Owens. As always, very grateful to be here. Today I want to talk about a few things. I want to start off talking about selfishness and selfish people. A lot of people don't really understand when they're exhibiting these behaviors, but I'm going to do the best I can to break that down for you. We all know it's 2025, and nowadays social media and the way the world is pushes selfish behavior all across the board. And those of you who have been following my content and my channel know I'm a person of faith. So let me talk about some biblical definitions of selfishness and what the good book has to say. So let me jump over there really quick. The Bible teaches that selfishness is the sin that separates us from God and damages our relationship with others. The Bible goes against the teachings of selfishness. There are several Bible verses, included Philippians 2, verses 2 and 3, which tells us do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, and to value others above ourselves. Other verses include James 3:16, which warns us against bitter jealousy and selfish ambition. And Mark 12:31 tells us, love our neighbor as ourselves. As we all know, that's one that can be very difficult. So let me talk about my personal life for a second. I myself I've been through a lot of things in my life. A man is in his 40s at this point. I've learned a lot of life lessons. But I want to talk about, there was times where members of my family and friends also have needed things from me, needed assistance in certain areas. And I was always willing to give a helping hand. Now, I've never helped anybody or done anything for anyone for anything in return, by no means. But people don't really understand that sometimes when you do good things, when you can help someone, it comes back to you. Like it really does. Maybe not in the way that you want it to. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. There's been times to where you maybe, didn't have a lot of food, or you started a new job and let's say you started with several other people at a job. So another coworker was low on money. I didn't have any money at all. Or you noticed that they weren't eating anything when you guys went to lunch break. Maybe you didn't have a lot yourself, but you said, hey man, would you like a piece of this sandwich or a can of this soup or ramen noodles or whatever it may be? And the person accepted. Now they didn't tell you that they were in a dire situation, didn't have food at home. And you particularly didn't know that. You just noticed that they weren't eating anything. So you shared, you gave them what you had, a part of what you had. Not because you wanted something in return. Now, what people don't realize that sometimes later on down the line, you're in that same position. And the fact that you did that for someone, it came back because someone approached you and said, hey man, I noticed you aren't eating anything. Would you like some of the extra food that we have in the break room or in the fridge or whatever it may be? And you accept it. See, there is a such thing as paying it forward and doing good things because you never know who you may affect down the line. It could be your kids or your grandkids. I don't want to misquote scripture by no means, but I do recall there was mentioned in the Bible about storing up blessings for. I don't want to misquote, but I know it says basically your grandparents can be praying for you and you don't even know it. And some of the breaks and things that you received is because of the people before you that stored up the blessings for you by their prayers and their good deeds. It can be passed along. Now, there's people right now who are in great positions to help their family members, but they choose not to. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If you have 2 vehicles or 3 vehicles or 2 homes or whatever you may have, and you have a family member that is struggling, that is trying to do better, and they just need a break. I know people right now who will pay 2 mortgages, struggle to pay 2 mortgages instead of letting a family member live at home and pay them something. Now, I know someone's going to say, well, you don't know what that family member would do or whatever. That. Quit playing with me because you guys know what I'm talking about. It's pure selfishness. They will have another vehicle sitting in their driveway that they're not even driving at all, never use the car, but they will not let a member of their own family use that vehicle. Now, if a stranger needed it or someone they just met needed it, they'll give it to them first before they give it to their own family member to get the pat on the back or you're such an awesome person from that individual instead of their own family member. Yeah, I see it every day. And some of you guys do too. This is my thing. That is one of the problems in our community. I don't think I have to specify what community I'm talking about. You look at me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's something that definitely needs to change because there is no other group of people go out of their way not to help one another. It is a real problem, and I think it needs to be addressed. People complain to me about helping their own family members when they're in the position to help them. I always say, look, right now, my own brother, I can post on my social media right now. My brother can tell you anything I've ever done for him. I've never asked him for anything in return. Any friend that I have right now that's on my page that I have a personal relationship with, they all will tell you I have never asked them for anything in return. My belief is if God blesses you with enough to share, to help, to give, you should do so. Yeah, there's people right now who, if they have nieces and nephews and other family members that come and stay with them or visit their children, they will tell them to drop off food for their kids so their kids can eat. Yeah, they really do that. Your kids can come over, but you have to bring food for them. Really? That's what we're doing? But that same person will go spend $300 on seafood, but won't even share a pot of beans with their own blood, their own relatives. Yeah, that's what they do. They'll go out and spend money with fake friends and coworkers or someone they try to impress. They'll buy them food, but their own family members, they won't even share a pot of beans. Beans, man, it costs nothing. Yeah, 100%. I've never been that way. So this is what I'm going to say about this behavior, right? You reap what you sow. Remember my words. It's better to be in a position to help and to give than to not be. You complain about not being able to pay your bills or not having money left over after you pay your bills. Imagine not having the money at all to pay your bills. Which one's worse? All your bills are paid, no extra money. But because of what you did in the past, because of the people that you helped in the past when you were in a position to help people, guess what? God never let you go without. You had food. Someone gave you food. Someone gave you a place to stay. The landlord gave you a break on your rent. These are things that you don't know that are stored up for you when you do the right thing. And you can debate me all you want to, but I guarantee you if you sit down and you think back of situations where you were that coworker that looked out for that new guy, that coworker that helped this person get better at the job to keep their job, or spoke up for them at their 90-day evaluation for them to keep their employment. You turned around, you were in that same position years later, and someone looked out for you. If you keep complaining about not wanting to help people and being selfish, remember, the position you're in, I guarantee you someone helped you. Someone helped you along the way to get in the position that you're in. And you get big-headed, you let the enemy tell you you did this all yourself and you don't need anybody and this and that and all that foolishness. Everyone needs somebody at some point. But don't let people take advantage of you. As long as a person is trying and they are making the effort to do the right thing, there's nothing wrong with it. Last one, and I'm going to wrap this up. I know a guy who had a family member that was renting a home from him, right? True story. They were struggling, has some financial challenges. This guy, buying this, doing that, all sorts of stuff, wasting money, all flashing on social media, stuff like that. Do you know he wouldn't give his family member a break on the rent or bills in that place? Not one time did he say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. I know you're kind of going through something. I'll look out for you. I have more than enough. When you have more than enough and you want to be selfish and not look out, especially for your blood relatives, that's going to come back to you at some point. I guarantee it is. Guarantee it. But hey, we're in the world now. We're in the time now to where people don't, as my dad used to say, they don't believe fat meat greasy. But they're definitely going to find out. So with that being said, that's about enough for that. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. If you like the video, share it with someone. I'm pretty sure you know somebody who may need to hear this. I could have went a little bit longer into this topic, but I'm not. I think I said just enough. As always, thank you for watching. Happy people do not cause problems. Peace.
If everybody winning, who's losing? Man, who's losing? I'm trying to make it make sense. It's like it's so confused. I see the pain in your eyes from all the lonely nights. I swear I know how I feel. It just don't